At 2 a.m., in an empty parking lot, a car was running, engine on, but the driver was missing. If it were you, would you stop or run? Comment your city, the time, and share if something like this has ever happened to you. I work at a mid-sized design firm in the city, and my shifts usually end long after midnight. By that time, the building is silent, the kind of quiet where the hum of the vents and the occasional ding of an elevator feel unnervingly loud. Below the office, the parking garage stretches across 3 dimly lit levels, with security cameras that never seem to work. I've parked there hundreds of times without a second thought. But one rainy Tuesday night, everything changed. My shoes squeaked on the slick concrete, and the air carried that metallic smell that only comes after rain. I was tired already, picturing my warm bed, when I noticed it, halfway down the row, a silver sedan. The engine was running, but the headlights were off. Nothing unusual at first. People wait in cars all the time, but this one was different. There was no one inside. I slowed down, half expecting someone to appear. The windows were slightly fogged, like someone had been sitting there for a while. My footsteps echoed, my heart thudding, harder than it should have. I ignored it and drove home. The next night, it was there. Again, same spot, engine idling. This time, I checked the license plate, 7KJ442. I didn't recognize it. 2 days later, Thursday night, the sedan appeared once more, but something was wrong. The plate was different, 9NT 623. Same car, same fogged windows, same low hum. I stood there longer, pretending to scroll through my phone, even circling behind it, but nothing. No shadow in the driver's seat, no movement. The dashboard lights glowed faintly, pulsing like a heartbeat. Then came a sound, a soft click from inside, like a lock engaging. The empty garage seemed to hold its breath. I told myself it was nothing. Cars glitch. Plates get changed. But that Friday night, as I walked to my car past 1 a.m., the usual spot was empty. Relief washed over me until I started my engine and caught something in my rearview mirror, headlights blooming too. Rose back. The silver sedan. It moved forward slowly, almost lazily, and I swear there was no one at the wheel. My breath caught. I couldn't see a driver, just the faint glow of the dashboard. It rolled closer, the purr of the engine rising, and I did the only thing I could. I drove off fast. Over the next week, it became a pattern. I would see it in different places, sometimes in the garage, sometimes near my apartment, sometimes on the road home. Always the same car, always idling, always with a different license plate. At first, I tried to dismiss it as coincidence, but then strange things began happening. My car's mirrors would be folded when I hadn't touched them. My phone's Bluetooth would pick up an unknown device labeled Sedan 01. One night, I decided to face it. I walked straight up to the car. The air around it was strangely warm, like something alive was breathing there. The engine's low rumble seemed almost deliberate. I leaned closer and looked inside. Empty leather seats, cup holder bare. But on the passenger seat sat a folded piece of paper with my name written on it. My hands trembled as I opened it. One neat sentence stared back at me. I dropped the paper and ran. I barely slept that night, telling myself it was a cruel prank. But the thought stuck like a thorn. By Monday, curiosity won. I parked across the street, early, and waited. Sure enough, at 11:45 p.m., the silver sedan rolled into the garage like it owned the place. It stayed still, engine growling softly, and then the license plate began to flicker. 2HG 511 changed to 3CZ 900, then turned blank. I pulled out my phone to record, but the screen went black the instant I hit record. My battery hadn't died, it just shut off. That's when the car's interior light came on. This time, something was inside. A figure, thin, upright, sitting in the back seat, facing forward. My chest went cold as the engine revved, and the sedan turned toward me. Slow and deliberate. I didn't wait to see more. I ran, heart pounding so hard I thought I'd collapse. I quit that job and moved to another city, but sometimes, on empty roads late at night, I still see it. A silver sedan, lights off, engine low, hovering in my rearview mirror. Last week, I found another note under my windshield wiper. Same handwriting, same neat style. It read, "Next time you drive." That night, I stayed up later than usual. I was finishing a freelance project, my laptop screen casting a cold white glow across my small room. Outside, the air was chilly, and the curtains swayed gently with the breeze. Everything felt normal, except for that quiet sense of unease that always seems to settle in during late hours. Behind my apartment, there's an old park, and beyond that, a narrow lane that ends at a dead end. At the very end sits an old, almost abandoned house. People say no one lives there. I never cared enough to check. When deadlines rule your life, there's no time for ghost stories. At 2:43 a.m., everything changed. I heard a knock, just once, soft, like a fingertip tapping glass. It cut through the sound of my typing, sharp and clear. At first, I thought I imagined it, or maybe something had fallen outside. But then it came again, louder this time, right next to the window. My heart picked up pace. Maybe a cat, maybe a bird, but at this hour? And in this cold? I got up slowly and dimmed the light. I moved toward the window, but didn't open the curtain. I just stood behind it, listening. Silence. Then another knock, longer this time, almost intentional, like someone trying to send a message. My curiosity fought with fear. I turned on my phone's flashlight and carefully pushed the curtain aside. Nothing. Just the soft orange glow of the streetlight and shadows stretching across the empty lane. I sat back down, but working was impossible. Every tiny sound seemed louder than before. I took off my headphones, letting the silence settle in. That's when I noticed it. On the corner of the window glass, a faint smudge, like moisture left by a cold fingertip. My mind locked onto it. It was the size of a single finger. At 3 a.m., just as I was convincing myself it was nothing, it came again. Not one, but two knocks. Tap, tap, like a deliberate signal. I moved quickly to the window and lifted the curtain slightly. Empty street, empty park, but for a split second, near that abandoned house, I saw a shadow shift and then disappear. I told myself it was a prank or an animal, but the knocks only came to my window, and they would stop the moment I moved. I thought about recording it, but panic kept me still. Part of me wanted to ignore it. Another part wanted answers. Finally, I pulled the curtain wide and froze. At the very end of the lane, near that old house, a figure stood, perfectly still, facing my direction. Too far to see details, but the silhouette was clear. I stepped back, mind racing. Who was that? Why my window? I shut the laptop, turned off the lights, and tried to sleep, but that figure stayed in my head. It wasn't the last time. The knocks returned the next night, louder, more deliberate. When I finally gathered the courage to look, the window seemed darker than before, as if something was standing just beyond it. A faint sound, like a fingertip tracing the glass. The building's watchman later told me, "Sir, don't keep that window closed. No one lives on that side, but sounds come every night. The last tenants moved out because of it." I started recording. The camera caught nothing but a pale, thin-shaped tapping on the glass, vanishing when the curtain moved. Then one night, I shifted my bed to face the window. At 3:14 a.m., the knocking grew urgent, like someone wanted in. I squeezed my eyes shut, but a cold breath brushed my face. I opened them and saw it. The shadow was inside the room. Tall, thin, head tilted, watching me. Then it pointed toward the window, which now stood open. I didn't think. I ran. I left that apartment the next day. I still don't know what it was. But even now, every time I hear a knock, on any door or window, my heart stops for just a second. What do you think? Was it human or something else?